Hi, welcome to In My Kitchen with Cheryl, and I had a request today from one of my subscribers to make Swedish meatballs. So I'll show you how I make Swedish meatballs. Come on in the kitchen with me. The ingredients that you'll need are 2.5 pounds of ground beef, 2 eggs, a cup of breadcrumbs, a cup of rice, white rice, 1 large can of cream of mushroom soup, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of ground sage, a teaspoon of crushed red peppers, and a tablespoon of parsley flakes. So let's get started. So I have my ground beef in the bowl, and I'm going to go and get 2 eggs. So I have my 2 eggs that I'll be adding to the ground beef. Get in with my hands and mix it all together. I find it's easier to use your hands rather than a mixing like a spoon or a fork. If you think you need a little bit more breadcrumbs, just add a little bit more because you want them to kind of be firm. This is actually perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go wash my hands. Seeing as how I'm working with raw meat, I like to wash my hands before I do the next step. While I have that sitting here, what I'm going to do is open up my can of cream of mushroom soup, add 1/2 cup of milk to this just so it loosens it up. I'll put it on a stove and pre-cook it. So I'll put it in the pan. And I'm just going to add 1/2 can of milk, like I said, to loosen it up. I'll put it on the stove and let it simmer. While my soup is simmering, I'm going to take my ground beef and make them into little meatballs and put them in my crock pot. And I like to keep them in the crock pot for about 3 hours on medium heat. So it's just little meatballs. Just place them on the bottom. These Swedish meatballs taste really great. I love all the ingredients that are in here. Gives it a nice flavor, and the crushed red peppers really gives it a kick. The soup is all done simmering, so what I'm going to do is shut my stove off, and I'm going to pour it directly from the pot into my crock pot because I have a row of meatballs on the bottom. So now I'll cover them. And what I'll do now is continue putting my meatballs on top and then put the rest of the cream of mushroom soup on it. With the 2.5 pounds of ground beef, it makes about 20 meatballs. Just cover the meatballs. I'll just put my lid on and put it on medium heat. Well, actually this one has high and low, so I'm going to leave it on high. My other crock pot has high, medium, and low, so this one has high and low. So I'm going to leave it on high, and like I said, for about 3 hours, and then your meatballs are all done. Now that I have a few moments while I'm waiting for my Swedish meatballs to finish cooking, you'll see my email address at the bottom of the screen, cherylsrealvideoworld@yahoo.com. feel free to email me with your comments or suggestions, and I'll gladly reply. I look forward to them. And I thank you so much for all the emails that I have received in the past and hopefully continue into the future. Well, it's been about 3 hours now and it smells awesome in here, so I know that they're done. So what I'm going to do is shut off my crock pot. I have a bowl over here. You can hear it sizzling. So what I'm going to do is take one meatball with a little bit of gravy. You can see how nicely the gravy sits on top of the meatball. And see how it thoroughly cooked the meat, the ground beef, the rice. You can see some of the red pepper seeds in there. So what I'm going to do is just lightly salt and pepper it. I mean, if you could just smell this, it does smell excellent. I'll try a little piece of the Swedish meatballs. It's really, really good. I mean, the sauce is nice and creamy, so this is one I highly recommend you trying. And I thank you very much for tuning in to In the Kitchen with Cheryl, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.